Good afternoon, gentlemen. We're in week 3 of the Fantasy Football Pride League, baby. I don't know about y'all, but it was a great week in fantasy football. I'm sitting at 2-0. Unfortunately, the Texans are 0-2. Now, to put this in perspective, I would gladly lose if the Texans can come out with a victory. I'd rather be 0-2 if my Texans could be 2-0. Now, even though regular football sucks right now, fantasy is something we all can look forward to. Let's look back and see exactly how I did in picking these games. Well, let's start with a surefire win. 99 problems, but you ain't one. Hit me. Just destroyed. Flawless victory. I don't know about you, but my fantasy defense is nasty. The Cardinals came up with 18 points, 2 TDs. I don't know, man. My Cardinals D literally had as many points as his kicker, defensive special teams, defensive player, and any one of those freaking wide receivers you want to throw in besides ODB. It was magnificent day for my boys. Now, granted, like I said, my wide receivers weren't going to put up 30 apiece like they did last week, but to circumvent that, my kicker, Gauskowski, put up 19 points, kicking 50-yarders like they was just 10-yarders. Getting it, son. I don't know what to tell you. J.J. Watt is a 10-point starter every week. This man might put up 20 against Jameis Winston this week, but we'll get to that later. I digress. Finishing up with this Dion Lewis, everybody thought he'd be a one-hit wonder. Put him on the trade block. Nobody want him. Put up 23 points. Get you some, son. It was just a poor performance from Andrew Luck and the boys at Flawless Victory. 0-2. There's always room next week, bro. So, I got that pick right. Moving on to Classy Strippers versus Designated Drunk Drivers. It was a easy pick for me. DDD's team seems to just be battered to shit, and it proved. Mike Evans with a goose egg. Even Dan Carpenter got 1 point. It was just a lackluster performance from DDD. And Classy Strippers didn't need to do too much. Eddie Lacy, he got hurt early, so didn't need a whole lot from him. But his wide receivers stepped up to the challenge. Allen Robinson, Terrence Williams with Dez down, and even Tyler Afer, he was outstanding. So good on Classy Strippers when adversity hits. Unfortunately, Classy Strippers, you're going down this week. Moving on, I got that right so far. I'm 2-0 in the picks. Let's go with 42 and Chicago Chalupas. Now, I picked Chicago Chalupas to win. Now, this was partly because I decimated 42 earlier, but I knew that it was going to be close. I picked Chicago Chalupas because I knew AP was going to have a better game. I just didn't know Drew Brees was going to get hurt and have a shitty game along with DeMarco Murray. Eric Decker and Larry Fitzgerald came out of nowhere. I expected this from Eric Decker, but the old man Fitzy did not. The Dolphins D compared to the Browns D, I think that was the turning point. It was just, you don't expect the Browns D to do what they did, along with you don't expect the Dolphins to get -1 points against the Jags. I think that was the ultimate, destroyer of this game for Chicago Chalupas. That Drew Brees, What? Good on you, 42. You got that despite me picking the other team. I'll probably pick you from now on just to see if this curse works. Next up, we got Bolt Up Bitches and Polka Panthers. Now, Bolt Up Bitches, I did not expect this from his team, but I really shouldn't doubt Big Ben Roethlisberger or Julio Jones. And goddamn, Amari Cooper? Who would have expected that shit? Nobody knows the trouble Polka Panthers sees. Nobody knows his sorrow. Even despite not being present for the draft, he has a very, very good team. Scored 136, could have beat a fair number of people in the league. He just had to go up against a guy that scored 187 points. Now, if he can do that week in, week out, watch out for Bolt Up Bitches. Unfortunately, I just don't see it happening. I don't see Big Ben scoring almost a 40 burger. And Julio Jones is destined for 15 to 25 points per week. I'm sorry, Amari Cooper is not. So we'll see how that goes from week to week. Congratulations, bolt up, bitches. Now, don't touch me there versus Bull City. Who did I have winning? Bull City. And granted, just like Don't Touch Me There's last matchup, this one was too close to call. But I did call it right yet again. Unfortunately, for Don't Touch Me There, Roddy White, his goose egg, is probably the main reason why he did not get this victory. He could have played anybody on his bench, with the exception of Le'Veon Bell and Artise Payne or Des Bryant, and he'd have got that victory. Got that victory. So sad. Bull City moves to 1-1 and drops Don't Touch Me There to 1-1. Good matchup, but I did pick Bull City. Get you some. Now, Lazy Pugs versus Haters Get Des Nuts. Now, I picked Haters Get Des Nuts. Did not expect Tony Romo to fall with scoring just 4 points. Who would have thought the Ravens defense would get -3 points against the Oakland Raiders? The Oakland Raiders. Adam Vinatieri, no points whatsoever. Haters Get Des Nuts. That was a shitty performance from your guys, despite Antonio Brown scoring damn near a 40 burger. Lazy Pugs was supposed to lose this matchup. Good on you for not quitting, despite Joik Bell only getting almost 4 points. The rest of your team, Peyton Manning showed up. Demaryius Thomas in turn showed up. Very good performance by Gronk. I mean, super win by the Lazy Pugs. And that sums it up in last week's territory. So fantasy stud, we're gonna have to give it to Belt Up Bitches, because it was a nasty day for Ben Roethlisberger and company. Great performance from Bolt Up Bitches. Now, our fantasy dud. Now, typically it goes to the lowest scoring player, which would be Flawless Victory. And I was gonna give this award to Haters Get Des Nuts, but Flawless Victory, oh my god, I just can't turn a blind eye to how piss poor your team is, with the exception of ODB. Now, if ODB just scores an average, you don't reach 100. You don't reach 100 if he just gets the average 15 points we expect from ODB. You have to be the fantasy dud this week. Get your shit together, son. Now, most improved. This is a culmination of things from last week's battles to this week's battles, and overall standings in general. Typically, somebody that was fantasy stud or fantasy dud that actually gets a victory next week typically gets my most improved player. And fantasy dud last week was Bull City. So my most improved this week is probably Bull City, putting in a whopping 150 points despite last couple weeks ago not even reaching the 100 mark. Getting the win in tough times against Don't Touch Me There, a former champion. You get the nod at most improved Bull City. Doug Beeson, congratulations, most improved. Let's see if we can carry that on into the future. Now, let's look at the standings right now. We got 2 undefeated teams, yours truly, and Classy Strippers. Now, one of those teams will probably have a loss, unless I go over and kiss BD's sister for a tie. And kiss your sister is like a tie. So watch out there now. I'm going to get the victory, so ain't nobody got to kiss nobody's sister. Now, let's move on to the free agents, right? It was another exciting week in the free agent pool. So the guy that went up for the most was Bolt Up Bitches. He wanted Matt Jones to supplement his running back. Matt looks good. Now, is Alfred Morris ready to concede the starting role to Matt Jones? I guess time will tell. Good pickup. I don't know if he needed to go $16 big, but he did. Next up was Don't Touch Me There, picking up Travis Benjamin from Cleveland. I don't know if I would have pulled the trigger on $15 for him, but that's what makes champions champions and wannabes wannabes reaching, diving for those moves. I mean, I can't fault them. You got the money, spend it, and who knows, might help your team. So, not a huge splash like it was last week, but we'll see how it goes. Now, what you've all been waiting for, my picks for the week. Now, I had a couple side steps, some surprises, but let's start with some simple matchups this week. We got the 0-2 designated drunk drivers versus 42 1-1. Actually surprising folks getting the win. Now, as I look at these matchups, it's it I had to give it to freaking DDD. I don't expect him to come back. He's got an idea of who's going to start, who's going to sit now. His lineup looks pretty fresh. It would take some really big decisions on, game day morning to decide whether or not these players are going to play or not. I'm going to give it to DDD. I don't see him going 0-3. The guy is a playoff, former playoff guy. 42, his team is okay. But if Matt Forte doesn't play, you can guarantee 42 will lose. I'm giving this win to DDD. Next up is Don't Touch Me There versus draft absentee Poke High Panthers. Now, if I have to sit and evaluate Don't Touch Me There's performance in the previous 2 weeks, the guy should be 2-0. Unfortunately, he's 1-1. Poke High Panthers has the draft team of the ages, 1-1 right now. I'm giving this matchup to Don't Touch Me There. Tom Brady going up against that Jacksonville defense. Jacksonville surprised some people last week. Unfortunately, Tom Brady and Bill Belichick are not going to put their foot off the gas. They have something to prove, and most importantly, Tom Brady wants to prove to everybody no slightly inflated balls is going to keep him from a championship. They're the team to beat, along with Le'Veon Bell coming back. Alfred Morris, I don't think he's going to let Matt Jones show him up, the youngster. But, with A.J. Green kind of questionable and Marshawn Lynch kind of questionable, Jason Witten kind of questionable, Polk Eye Panthers in general questionable, Muldowney, step up your shit, man. You actually have a chance to even push for the playoffs. But I'm giving it to Don't Touch Me There. Now, moving on to Bull City versus Flawless Victory. Now, Flawless Victory 0-2, Bull City 1-1. If this is a day that Andrew Luck is going to step out of the shadows and put up a 40 burger, it's against the goddamn Tennessee Titans. So when I look at these matchups, it's kind of one-sided toward Bull City, but I have to believe that this mediocre squad of Flawless Victory is going to step it up. Now, Phillip Rivers versus Minnesota, Calvin Johnson versus Denver. These are some matchups that, Steve Smith always has a big deck against the Bengals. But Flawless Victory, you're not going 0-3. You're not going 0-3, buddy. I'm giving you the win. Flawless Victory. Put it in the bank. Upset of the week, Flawless Victory against Bull City. Now, Both Up Bitches versus Lazy Pugs. Now, this matchup will be close. Will definitely be close. And it'll come down to Ben Roethlisberger and Peyton Manning. Will Peyton Manning go into a shootout with Detroit, or will Ben Roethlisberger pound it out with Le'Veon Bell against that Rams defense? Now, I'm giving this one to Lazy Pugs. And there's no real reason I would, I just think Gronk is an animal. And Peyton Manning going up against Detroit, that's more likely a shootout than anything. I think Darren McFadden's going to have a huge role now that Tony Romo's injured and Dez Bryant's injured. They're going to rotate those backs more. They might have 40 carries between the two of them. That's to be expected. I think Randall will probably have 25 and McFadden will have 15. So, giving that to the Lazy Pugs. Next up, we got Haters Get Dez Nuts and Chicago Chalupas. Now, these guys are homeboys. These, Alejandro Hernandez put Shale Shaw into the league. So, I mean, will Shale just drop his drawers and let Chicago Chalupas insert Rod A into slot B and just go to town? I don't know. Is this the type of league we live in? He got Nick Foles after Tony Romo goes down. It's going to be a tough challenge against Pittsburgh's young, vibrant defense. Now I know Drew Brees. If he plays against Carolina, the man might be out for this season. Carolina's defense is not going to go easy on him. Now, bounties will be issued even if they're not publicized. They're going to see if they can take out Drew Brees. I'm giving this one to Haters Get Des Nuts. I don't think Haters is going to just lie down and take it from the champion. Chicago Chalupas will fall to 1-2. Now, the game of the week. 99 problems, but you ain't one. Hit me against classy fucking strippers. I'm just saying, this is the matchup of the week. 2-0 versus 2-0. East Juggernauts going head to head. Nothing better than this week right here, fellas. Mark my words. Now, do you need Madam Mama Zuzwala to give you your fortune on who gets this pick? Fuck no. 99 problems, but you ain't one. Shall take this. Aaron Rodgers on my back. He's going to give me my sweet revenge against those Kansas City fucking Chiefs that took out my boys in week 1. While I was at that game getting hoarse and fucking just cursing the name. I'm proud of Eric Berry. I don't want him to get cancer anymore. But I wanted that entire team to get lymphoma. Forgive me. Knock on wood. Anyway, this is going to determine who's undefeated for the league and who is in control of the East. Game of the week, I got to give it to 99 pounds, but you ain't one. Now, you might think I'm a little biased in the matter, but I'm not. Aaron Rodgers, Joseph Randle, and Dion Lewis should all have monster games. With my wide receivers, they're kind of suspect, especially with DeAndre Hopkins getting that concussion yesterday. It was a sad day. But with Eddie Lacy on that bum ankle, I'm pretty sure Aaron Rodgers will lean more on Starks instead of Eddie Lacy. Now, will Classy Strippers play Starks? If I know the guy, he'll have a lot of time to decide, which is only going to hurt his decision. Starks, Lacy, Starks, Lacy. Even if Lacy starts, will he finish the game with 20 carries? I don't know. Starks might actually have 15 carries, regardless of whether or not Eddie Lacy plays. These are the decisions that true champions must make to get this victory. Terrence Williams scares me. I'm not truly concerned about Allen Robinson or Jeremy Hill in these matchups against Baltimore and New England. I'm pretty sure my teams are going to have easier matchups than Classy Stripper Squad, giving me the victory. 99 problems that you ain't one. That's a win, fellas. Well, this video lasted a little longer than I anticipated. I want to just say good luck to everybody, except Classy Strippers. You can eat a bag of floppy dicks, bruh. I need this victory. I need it real bad. All right, fellas. Go Texans. Holla at your boy.